Hey guys, Darkovika here, and welcome to a very late book club video. So I mentioned this in the last video, but I wanted to say this more formally at the beginning of this video. The book club series is going to be a little more free-form than it was before, where we chose a book and we focused on that book and we were trying to read it in a set amount of time and we were all reading it together. I kind of want to encourage just reading in general, and also maybe not do the record a video after every single chapter, because I have realized that that is not sustainable. Especially right now. We have some minor health issues with my son that we're dealing with, and I'm also just very focused on him at the moment, and it kind of burns me out a little bit. And I also have a very inattentive focus. This week I finished at least 2 books. Well, no, okay, I finished 1 book and I'm about to finish a second. I know! And so last week I talked about this, but I picked up this book, which is Heaven Official's Blessing by MXTX, which if you look up MXTX, that's exactly what you'll find, everything you ever needed to know, including the 7seasdanmei.com, which I've just outed everything about this book. So this is a Danmei book, which is a boy love book. Alright, I'm just going to put that out there right at the beginning. But it is incredibly sweet. It is incredibly soft. It takes place in like ancient China. And I finished this one in the last video that I talked about. I read this in a day. That was a whirlwind. I finished this one in 2 days. This is the second one for Heaven Official's Blessing. I'm going to hold that up. There it is. Yep. Also known as... Alright, I should also say this. Forgive everything you're going to hear me say about when I try to say any of the Chinese words. I am so sorry. I'm trying. Tianguan Sifu, also known as TGCF. Did you drop your toys? Also known as TGCF. If you look that up, you'll get everything you need to know about that series. And then the other one that I moved on to, because that's it. That's all that's out right now. And this is an 8-book series, and I'm crushed. I've read these in 2 days, and the next one isn't coming out until June of this year. And then after that, so there's 3 series that MXTX has released, and they're releasing each book for each series sequentially. So June is when the next one for Heaven Official's Blessing comes out. The next one to come out, I think, is April, and it's going to be the Scum Villains Self-Saving System, which I have not started this one yet, but I will be, because I'm about to finish Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. This one is really interesting. It's also received a live action, which has a term that I have forgotten, but it's received a live action recreation. There's a word version. Sure, it's called The Untamed. It's on Netflix. The Untamed, because it is a live action, it would violate China's sincere issues with homosexuality and LGBT themes in general. They have laws against it, so The Untamed omits those, but like it's very coded, and in a way that's good, because they're trying to make it as close to the original material. There we go. The original material as possible. In this case, it's a good thing that it's coded, because they obviously can't do anything else. China would not allow them to release it. There is a manhwa. It's like manga, but manhwa, I think. For at least, I think all 3 of these, actually. There's a manhwa. And then, Heaven Official's Blessing has an English adaptation of an manhwa on Funimation. So, and the English voiceovers are not bad. They actually did some research into the name, which I think I mentioned this, but they did research into like how things are pronounced. So it's actually really nice. They're incredibly cute stories. They're very funny. They're just a bundle of fun, honestly. Like, they're very goofy. They're very... What are some of the... There are, like, terms... Oh, yeah. Okay, again. please forgive me. Oh, actually, there is a lovely glossary where I can read definitions of everything for you, okay? So, I will continue. Danmei, again, I'm probably not saying that correctly, I'm so sorry. It means indulgence in beauty. Excuse me. Is a Chinese fiction genre focused on romanticized tales of love and attraction between men. It is analogous to the BL, boys love genre, in Japanese media. The majority of well-known danmei writers are women writing for women, although all genders produce and enjoy the genre. Then there's wuxia. Wuxia means martial heroes, is one of the oldest Chinese literary genres and consists of tales of noble heroes fighting evil and injustice. It often follows martial artists, monks, or rogues who live apart from the ruling government, which is often seen as useless or corrupt. These societal outcasts, both voluntary and not, settle disputes among themselves, adhering to their own moral codes over the governing law. Characters in wuxia focus primarily on human concerns, such as political strife between factions and advancing their own personal sense of justice. True wuxia is low on magical or supernatural elements. To Western moviegoers, a well-known example is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Then the third one is, again, Zhanjia, which is Immortal Heroes. Immortal? Okay. I'm just being weird with all languages today, is a genre related to wuxia that places more emphasis on the supernatural. Its characters often strive to become stronger, with the end goal of extending their lifespan or achieving immortality. Zhanjia heavily features Taoist themes, while cultivation and the pursuit of immortality are both genre requirements. If these are not the story's central focus, it is not Zhanjia. The scum villain's self-saving system, Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation, and Heaven Official's Blessing are all considered part of both the danmei and Zhanjia genres. And there you go, that's basically that. So, as far as I understand it, these were all originally released as web novels. And now they're being released everywhere. They are just everywhere. Like, the entire world is gaining access to these, and they're just a bundle of fun, genuinely. And as far as I know, at least 2 of these have a happy ending, and that makes me exceptionally happy. And I'm saying that even though that could be considered a spoiler, because for me, I don't know, that's really important in my romance stories. I hate sad endings. I don't want any sad endings. I just want happy endings. So, although it is apparently a roller coaster to those endings, so there you go. But yeah, I genuinely, really good stuff. Like, just makes me happy. It just does. I am the type of person, okay, so I'm the type of person who really likes love stories, but where the love story is not necessarily the only thing going on, because typically that creates like weird, almost forced drama. Like, you usually see the trope where there's just this big misunderstanding that could have been cleared up if everyone had just spent 2 seconds to talk to each other. That is almost always used in stories that focus solely on the romance, right? And I hate that. So my favorite thing in love stories is when there is a love story going on, but there's also like a billion other things, like maybe arcs or other things happening in the story that is helping progress the love story, but that makes the love story kind of not the sole part of the story, because that means that the romance isn't going to get those typical flaws or road bumps that you see in a book where the only story is the romance. Because obviously in any story you need to have conflict, right? And so in a story that's focused solely on a romance, the only conflict you're going to get is from the romance, and I don't usually like that, because the conflict that gets generated is sometimes a little too toxic. Like, okay, I'm not the type of person who considers romance novels to be a pure reflection on what people think romance is. I think anybody can read anything, and romance, first of all, I'm against book burnings in general. I do not believe that writing or any topics of writing should ever be censored. I think censorship in general is terrible, and it is just a stepping stone towards mass censorship, and there is no level of censorship that is ever acceptable to me. Now, you know, to continue to branch off of that, in romance, you see a lot of topics that a lot of people would consider very risky or very triggery, and, you know, a lot of people get very upset and consider when you write about certain things, like, okay, here's an example. Let's say, you know, books where there is a supernatural entity dating like a teenager, right? Twilight. We'll just say Twilight. I'm not as big of a fan of Twilight anymore, but we'll just say Twilight. I don't necessarily believe that that is a reflection of what people think a relationship is supposed to be. I think it is pure fantasy, and that it is acceptable to write books like that, and it is not problematic because it's just fantasy. And oftentimes, people will read a novel that features a kink or fetish or whatever that doesn't actually represent what they want in reality, and they understand that. And I think people vastly misunderestimate the human mind and humans in general. Yes, there will always be someone who misunderstands something, but you can't plan for that. You would literally just not be able to write anything. Rant aside, right? This is not one of those types of stories. This was a very long way of me saying I like stories that have something else going on next to a romance, because I don't always like the conflict that is created within the romance when it's just the romance. It drives me nuts. They're always the same problems, always the same tropes, and I just don't like them. So this is very supernatural, and I love it. Basically, it's ghost hunters, right? They're all hunting demons and ghosts, and I love it, and there's all this, like, mystery and intrigue and murders going on, and also a really cute romance, and I adore it. And it's great. Like, the romance isn't the problem. It's literally everything else. I mean, for right now, I'm only 2 books in, and Heaven Official's Blessing is apparently 8 books long if you look at the website, and I think Grandmaster is 5 books. I could be wrong. Yeah, Heaven Official's Blessing is Volume 8 will be released in 2023. Rip me. Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation has 5 books, and they're all pretty much going to be done in 2023. Oh, except for the Scum Villain's Self-Saving System, which is 4 volumes, and it will be completed in October. Oh, what? What? Oh wow, this one will just be done in 2022. Alright, well, this one I'll be able to finish this year. The last one apparently will get released in October, so there's that. But yeah, so that's my week in reading. Literally just I got all of these, and that's been my life. And now I'm consuming everything about them. There's comics, there's donghua, I think is the term for the comics. Excuse me. Yeah. Yes? I am incorrect. I've been saying, yeah, no. Donghua is the animation. Manhwa is the comic. I'm sorry. I will get there, okay? As stuff is said and I'm watching things, I will start picking up better pronunciations, but for now, it's a trip. Like, I thought that I was saying some things correctly, and then I was listening to, like, the live action, and I was like, clearly I'm not. Like, Jin Ling, which I can already say, just it sounds terrible coming out of my mouth. I think it's Jin Liang? I don't know. Alright, I just gotta keep watching and I'll pick up on it eventually. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments what you guys have been reading. And I love you guys very, very much. And thank you so much for your patience as always and understanding. I know the 2 channels are just a mess right now. They probably will be for a couple years, but it doesn't mean we can't have fun. Right, baby? Yeah. Speaking of which, he is now rolling, just rolling. It's like a tumbleweed. He gets very upset because he's kind of mixed up how he rolls from tummy to back. So he gets stuck because he like T-poses, and obviously you can't roll if your arm is in the way. So I'm like, no, bud, you remember you have to put your arm up. And he's like, no, I don't understand. I don't remember. There's too many steps now. So he's doing really well. We just have a very minor medical thing that we're working with that just absolutely stole all of my attention last week. And then also we had a birthday party that we went to, so just no time. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next video, and I hope you guys are reading lots and having fun, and just read what you love and tell me all about it in the comments. If you feel like spoilering things, you can totally do that. I don't usually care about spoilers, so there's very few things that I care about spoilers, so yeah, feel free. Go ham. Tell me everything. Tell me everything you're reading and how much you love it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.